Welcome. Thank you for joining me for this study of joy, a walk through Philippians. We're going to talk about joy and just one of the many aspects of the joy-filled life that we have in Christ. Ready? Well, whether we realize it or not, we have so many reasons to rejoice every day. I need that reminder, don't you? May God open our eyes to see, to recognize in specific ways the joy that we have today. Joy as sisters in Christ, that's what we're going to talk about today. Do you have those people in your life that as soon as they come to mind, you can't help but smile? At the mere thought of them, your spirits are lifted? It's as if something washes over you when you think of them and your heart feels full. Well, I have some of those people in my life. They're the ones who walk beside me. You know what I mean. Some are nearby, and sometimes the walk is a literal one as we walk and we talk and we share. But even with those friends who are several states away, I know that they're just a call, a text, or a message away. And they have my back. I hope I have theirs too. They support me, they pray for me, encourage and embolden me. They give me godly guidance when I need it, and they cheer me on when I could use that too. They help me to carry on in my faith walk when the going gets rough. I have one friend, in fact, who keeps tabs with me about my upcoming ministry travels, and she asks specifically how she can pray for me regarding them. So it's become that I'm no longer surprised when my cell phone lights up with a text from her while I'm somewhere traveling the country. So often her texted prayer arrives just as I'm about to speak or right when I need it the most. When I think of this friend and others like her, I immediately want to break into one of my joy dances. And I'm moved to pray for her, for them, to thank God for them, for his work in and through them. I think of Paul's words in Philippians 1 when he wrote to his friends in Philippi. And he said, "I thank my God in all my remembrance of you, always in every prayer of mine for you all, making my prayer with joy because of your partnership in the gospel." The Apostle Paul rejoices over his dear friends in the faith in Philippi. In every penned word, it's apparent that Paul's heart is bursting with joy over them. His choice of words throughout the letter emphasize the joy that fills him. These brothers and sisters in Christ have received the same grace, the same undeserved, unearned favor and forgiveness of God, the same faith that Paul has. They're partakers of God's grace. As Paul goes on to say in verse 7, they are fellow believers. Though far apart physically, as Paul is writing to them from house arrest in Rome, they are walking side by side in a sense, sharing the same purpose. They partner in the gospel. They support, encourage, and embolden one another. They pray for one another, just as my sisters in Christ and I do. And just as I hope that you and yours do for one another too. Sisters in Christ share a special bond, don't we? We share the joy of Jesus because by God's grace, we believe. And with joy, we receive one blessing after another from the hand of God. And it's often delivered through our sisters, right? We're partakers of his grace, and yes, we partner with them in the gospel. One day I decided to challenge some sisters in my midst to share why this bond is so important. One woman wrote this to me. She said, I'm grateful for those who have shown me how filling and thrilling a life in Christ can be. For those who mentor and listen, walk with me, encourage me, recognize where there's a need, and pray for me. At a moment's notice, I could call them and they'd be there. Wow. Pray with joy for the women in your life who hold you up in prayer, who walk with you, whether near or far. Continue to read and study this letter of joy with expectancy that God will work powerfully through every word as he fills you with joy. May you be emboldened to partner in the gospel with your sisters and brothers in Christ. So I have a question for you. You may already have sisters in Christ who partake in God's grace and partner in the gospel with you. But who may be someone new? Someone who could use a prayer partner, a listening ear, a support. I'd like you to prayerfully consider who that may be. If you meet with others, talk to them about it and then ask her. On my next video in this series, we'll see Paul's letter take a turn in the second half of the first chapter of Philippians as we read and explore the evidence of his unshakable joy despite his circumstances. What is God saying to you and to me about our opportunities to rejoice no matter what? I'll see you soon, sisters in Christ. Rejoice every day.